Hi, I'm Alexander, and I'm eager to tell you about my research on initial attraction in humans and TT monkeys. Before I dive into my talk, I want to thank the Love Consortium, as well as my advisors and collaborators, as well as all the other lab members and interns who have helped me in any way with this project. Here's some background. In humans, first impressions can play a critical role in romantic attraction and in facilitating romantic relationships. This is because first impressions tend to linger. How people perceive each other when they first meet can predict how they think, feel, and behave towards each other in the future. According to the social relations model, there are three routes that could produce lingering first impressions, especially in a romantic context. One route is through actor effects. This is how generally desirous a person is. In this case, person A likes person B now and in the future because person A likes everybody. A second route is through partner effects. This is how consensually popular a potential mate is. In this case, person A likes person B now and in the future because everybody likes person B. This pathway is especially important from an evolutionary perspective because it is tied to mate value. This is the idea that certain traits evolve to be more or less universally attractive because they signal fertility or good genes. The final route is through relationship effects. This is how much someone likes another person over and beyond actor and partner effects. For example, if person A likes person B now and continues to like person B, even though person A is not generally desirous and person B is not very popular, this would be a relationship effect. In humans and other species that form long-term relationships with their mates, this pathway is also important in an evolutionary context because it is related to compatibility, which is important if you're going to be with your mate for a long time, beyond a single mating period. Thus far, most studies of first impressions have been premised on the partner effect, and few studies have tested all three mechanisms simultaneously, especially in a romantic context. Moreover, only a few of these studies included longitudinal follow-up measures, which are critical for tracking how lingering first impressions affect later romantic outcomes. In this study, we investigated whether the three types of lingering first impressions were differentially associated with attempts to initiate romantic relationships. We explored this in both humans and TT monkeys. Let's start with the human study. In study 1, we used 3 speed dating datasets from the Love Consortium dataverse. Each study included a longitudinal follow-up component to track people's interactions with and later attraction towards their matches. This was critical for understanding how lingering first impressions influence later romantic outcomes. In total, there were 547 participants. The independent variable was initial romantic desire, which was determined from surveys given during speed dating. Based on these responses, we applied the social relations model to determine actor, partner, and relationship effects. The dependent variables were related to relationship initiation with matches and later romantic evaluations during the weeks and months following speed dating. These variables included both continuous and dichotomous measures and were determined from the follow-up surveys. We analyzed data using multi-level regression models. In each study, we assessed whether actor, partner, and relationship effects predicted each outcome variable. These results were then meta-analyzed across the 3 studies. We have some exciting results, and I have turned off my video so you can see them all. First, here are the results for actor effects. The gray diamonds represent the meta-analyzed effect size for each dependent variable, and the circles represent the individual effect sizes from each study. The error bars show the meta-analytic 95% confidence intervals. The bars that do not overlap the dashed line are significant at p less than 0.05. We found that actor effects were modestly predictive of the continuous outcomes, but not predictive of the dichotomous outcomes. In contrast, the partner effects and the relationship effects were moderately associated with most outcome measures. In other words, over the days and weeks following the speed dating events, participants initiated contact with matches and experienced romantic desire towards matches to the extent that their matches were consensually desirable, to the extent that they uniquely desired their matches, and to the extent that they themselves were generally desirous people. These results are consistent with evolutionary attachment theory and suggest that both compatibility and consensually attractive traits are important facilitators of human pair bonding. So in our second study, we used a comparative approach to investigate whether a similar process occurs in TT monkeys, a South American primate species. TT monkeys are well suited to a study like this because they are socially monogamous, and like humans, TT monkey mates form long-term emotional pair bonds with each other. Hence, these monkeys can lend insight to evolutionary mechanisms that may also contribute to human pair bonding. Another benefit of studying TT monkeys is that we, the researchers, have greater experimental control than is possible in studying humans. So for example, Although we could arrange for two people to meet and go on a date and report on attraction to each other, we can't control whether they fall in love or choose to pursue a relationship. However, such a control is possible in TD monkeys. In this study, we investigated whether pairing monkeys together based on their initial desire for each other would affect the long-term pair bond that they formed with each other. So to determine initial desire towards potential mates, we devised a TD monkey speed dating experiment. In this test, monkeys were allowed to meet opposite-sex potential mates through a graded window. They had the option to move to the lower half of the testing chamber if they did not wish to interact with their date. Each date lasted 30 minutes, and monkeys went on one date with each potential mate on each day of testing. The test was repeated 6 times, counterbalancing the order of the dates and whether the males or the females rotated. We determined initial desire based on time spent in the preference zone. This is the area by the graded window where monkeys could visit each other. Today I'm presenting preliminary data from our first cohort of subjects, which comprised 3 males and 3 females. So first we determined initial desire using the speed dating test just described. We applied the social relations model to time spent in the preference zone. Next, we tabulated the sum total of relationship effects for each possible combination of pairing the monkeys together, and chose the combination of pairs that yielded the highest net relationship effects. This was done because relationship effects are hypothesized to be important for pair bonding species. After monkeys were paired, we performed daily scan sample observations and measured how often the pairs were observed in proximity to each other, in contact with each other, or twining their tails together, a species-typical social behavior. We used multi-level models to compare their affiliation trajectory to 12 age-matched pairs that did not participate in speed dating and that were paired together pseudo-randomly without quantifying the monkey's initial desire for their mate that they were assigned to be with. We predicted that monkeys paired together based on relationship effects from speed dating would be more affiliative with each other than the colony reference group. Our most exciting preliminary finding is that the pairs we determined from speed dating exhibited more tail twining behavior during the first 4 months post-pairing than the colony reference pairs. There was no interaction between month and pairing method, which indicates that the pairs determined from speed dating exhibited increased tail twining right from the start of their pairing. There was a trending effect of month, indicating that across both groups, tail twining tended to increase across time. There were no differences between groups for proximity or contact, and these data are not shown. The specificity of our findings to tail twining is notable because it is a more intimate form of affiliation than proximity or contact without tail twining. In summary, in the human study, we found that partner and relationship effects were good predictors of relationship initiation and later romantic evaluations. In the TD monkey study, we found that pairing monkeys together based on relationship effects led to increased affiliation with their pairmate. Together, these studies suggest that lingering first impressions based on compatibility are an especially important pathway for facilitating pair bonding. We have some exciting future directions for this project. First, we are collecting data for a second cohort of monkeys, and we are excited to see if these preliminary results are replicated. Second, although pairing decisions were based solely on time spent in the preference zone during speed dating, the monkeys exhibited many behaviors during the test, and we are in the process of scoring these behaviors to get a better understanding of TD monkey attraction. Last, I hope to present these data at SPSP 2022. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, my contact info is listed below. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you.